Previously on this Arizona adventure, I traveled to the Kofa Wildlife Refuge to meet up with this year's Center Force Overland Adventure Group. We explored this magnificent desert area, visited some historic cabins, and we put down a lot of miles on the trail before settling in at a beautiful campsite and enjoying some good laughs around the campfire. On this leg of this adventure, things change dramatically as we head for the Arizona mountains following one of the wettest seasons this region has seen in decades. We traverse miles of flooded trails, encounter numerous obstacles and mechanical issues, and learn a few lessons along the way. Sit back, relax, and join me on this next leg of this incredible adventure.
It's raining.
The right time. What a beautiful desert morning. That sunrise was incredible. I slept great last night. We stayed up a little late last night around the campfire. Lots of laughs. Just a great group of people to hang out with. I'm excited to go wheel with them again today and see where we end up at camp tonight. Now, I just packed up. Everybody else is wrapping up their gear. We're going to have a driver's meeting here soon and find out what the day's events are going to look like. Can't wait.
Our driver's meeting started bright and early this morning because we have yet another long day ahead of us. Trent was once again a little cryptic about where exactly we were going to be going and what we'd see today, but he did let us know we would have to put in a lot of road miles to reach the town of Wickenburg, where we will top off fuel and head into the Bradshaw Mountains, where we will be on the trail for the next 2 full days. This led a couple of us to guess that maybe we'd be heading the back way to Crown King, which is a great trail. But Trent let us know that that's not the plan. Instead, he has another route that we will thoroughly enjoy. Because we're going to be on the road for a while, this meant we now needed to all air up. And recently, I made a change to my compressor setup in the JK and installed it under the seat with a chuck and a switch to the compressor on the side of my Goose Gear platform. This is the first time I'm using it in this configuration, and so far I'm pretty happy with it. With everyone aired up, we were once again on the move with our 15-vehicle convoy. Exploring with a group this size takes some careful planning, and the success of keeping everyone together requires an experienced trail leader and a group of folks that knows some of the golden rules. Keep up with the pace of the group as best you can, but always keep the vehicle behind you in your sights. Always stop at a turn so the last person behind you sees you making that turn, and ensure you have some good communication so you know what's going on. We are all using GMRS radios on this trip, and while I prefer ham communications over others, GMRS just seems to be the standard these days. We've been on the pavement for a good half hour already. We got a little bit further to go. I guess we're going towards Wickenburg, and we're going to go check out somebody's grave, which that's very intriguing. I'll be curious to see whose grave we're checking out. One thing I am really surprised about is just how well the JK drives. You know, this is the longest trip I've taken the JK on in a long time, and this Jeep has gone through so many iterations of lift kits, and I remember a time when I would drive down the road and this thing would just wander all over the place. It was a lot of steering input, and it's hard to believe that, you know, 39-inch tires, 6 inches of lift, and this thing it's just so dialed. You know, I love the 392. It's a blast to drive.
but I've put so much heart and soul into this Jeep, and I've been on so many adventures in this thing, and for it to still drive this good and perform this well on the trail, this is definitely my favorite vehicle. 392 is cool, but it's not half as cool as this. A lot of people are asking me, why didn't you bring the 392? This is my boy. This is my boy.
Just a few miles further and we reached the small town of Wickenburg, where those that needed it had a chance to grab some last-minute items at the store, and we all topped off our fuel tanks. We began making our way into the wilderness towards the base of the Bradshaw Mountains. But first, what goes up must come down, and yes, we had to air down our tires one last time. This time, airing down, though, won't be just for comfort. We're going to need the extra traction.
All right, we are back on the dirt finally, and this is really more of a nice sandy deep wash, and it is raining at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. That could make things interesting, but I think there's plenty of blue sky out there. We'll be all right. Now, as we were airing down to get ready to get on the trail, I was talking to Trent on the side, and I was like, look, are we gonna really get after it today? And he made the decision that we're gonna take a little bit extra longer route, which is gonna be much more technical, and it should really push the limit of some of these vehicles. So that I'm excited for. It's finally time to kind of get flexy and have a little bit of a challenge here. Not that I'm mad about any of this. This has been an awesome adventure out here in the desert, but the JK's ready to kind of hit some rocks a little bit. So I'm looking forward to this.
The Bradshaw Mountains are named after William D. Bradshaw, who was a very successful prospector in the area during the 1860s. The mountains have a rich mining history, with gold, silver, and other minerals being extracted from the area all the way up until the late 1900s. Today, the Bradshaws are a popular destination for off-roading, and there is a large network of trails up here. Lots of easy forest road for those looking to check out some of the backcountry scenery, but there are also some well-known challenging trails, and Trent has hinted that we will see some of that action soon. We started our climb at around 1,500 feet in elevation, and by the end of the day, we will have climbed to over 6,000 feet, and we will have put that beautiful desert landscape in our rearview mirrors, and we'll be heading straight for the thick pine tree forest. And did I mention we will see a lot of water on this trip? Oh yeah, that's coming. But first, we've got to put down some miles and find camp.
So here we go. Now we're having a little fun. Some rocks, some ruts. Nothing crazy, but enough to keep things very interesting, getting flexy a little bit. Actually, there's a little section right here. Probably slow down. It's tight. You hear those bushes just scraping the side of my Jeep? Yeah, a little flexy right here. There we go, look at that. That was super flexy, no rub at all. This is it, and it's perfect. I mean, the rain has kept the dust down, some clouds in the sky. Guys, this is what I love doing right here. Yeah. All right, guys, so the Forerunner has a little mechanical issue. What's happening is it starts up and then it instantly dies. So the guys have been working hard to troubleshoot it to kind of figure out what's going on. Not sure if it's a throttle body issue or fuel issue, but they're spending a little bit of time diagnosing it. So we're just on hold here a little bit, and then we'll get them going. So.
And it was weird because it was running perfect. Nothing, never had any inclination that it was going to do this. And then
so let's pull the manifold off and just do a little squirt of ether in just to see if it keeps it running, and we will tie it in.
You could establish that it's turning off the injectors or something.
Try again?
Yep.
A bit longer.
Jillian's running up this hill. She's got a box in her hand. What do you got there, Jillian?
A fuel pump.
Uh-oh, a fuel pump. She's going to be the hero. Do you want to relay this? Or you want to keep running?
I'll keep going.
Okay.
You've got enough running.
It's just a little hill.
Oh my gosh.
One of the other guys in our group that was all the way down at the bottom of the hill just happened to have a spare fuel pump. So, after a bit of diagnosing, getting things all sorted, and a good amount of rain from Mother Nature, these great minds were able to get this beast of a Forerunner back up and running. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going to break down on the trail, these are the guys to do it with, because there is a wealth of knowledge to get things fixed. And we had an extra fuel pump and they got the electrical fixed, and we are up and running, and the Forerunner sounds like a champ. Now we're a little bit behind, and so we're picking up the pace a little bit. The goal is to, one, I think, check out the cemetery, and two, find camp before it gets dark. It's already starting to get a little late in the day. We just came up this really steep, rocky, muddy, rutted, wet section. Beautiful views, a little bit of a cliff edge on the side, not my favorite thing in the world. Now we're coming down and it's more of the same, and the views off into the distance. Clouds, the sun shining through, just the layers of mountains. Gosh, you could not ask for a better day of wheeling. This is gorgeous out here. As we continued to make our way further down this section of the mountain, the rain finally began to clear and a hint of sunshine started to break through just as we were getting to a pretty technical section. And this is one we all had to take our time through, as it is steep, with a hard drop to passenger putting you off camber enough to make you feel a bit uncomfortable. And oh, there are loose rocks and it's wet and there's a ledge on the side, so no one was rushing through here. All right, this section here is a little sketchy. It's all wet, so that's one factor.
some big ruts, got a cliff on the side, and you got some deep holes. A couple guys are three-wheeling. I don't think I'll three-wheel it, but I just got to pick the right line.
I mentioned earlier that this area has been getting a lot of rain. Well, it's currently only March and they have already received twice as much rain that would have fallen here for an entire year in just 3 months. So things are wet and we are starting to see the evidence of that extra water. As I was coming across a water crossing, I saw my buddy Sean had gotten his rear diff hung up on a rock. Not sure how he did that. So I grabbed a winch, hooked him up, and gave him a quick, easy pull, and he was back in action. Just a reminder, sometimes it can be something simple that gets you hung up, so always have some recovery gear ready to go, especially when you're in remote places like this. And I promise, Sean, I won't give you much of a hard time about this. Not much, anyway. Our mountain views for the next hour were gorgeous, and the scenery and the wet conditions like this, I think, make for some of the most perfect trail conditions. After several miles and another creek crossing, we finally reached this little plateau right next to Bradshaw's grave. This is where Isaac Bradshaw was laid to rest in 1886, and he was William Bradshaw's brother and also a miner in this area. These mountains were originally called the Silver Mountains, but after his passing, they were renamed the Bradshaw Mountains after the two brothers. While the gravesite was interesting and it was nice to get out and stretch our legs, it was late in the afternoon and we needed to begin working our way to camp. So we were soon back on the trail in search of a spot Trent had chosen on his pre-run of this event.
It's a little after 5 and we are on the hunt for camp. Trent has a couple spots planned out that we're going to check out, so probably about another half hour to an hour and we should be reaching camp. But I'm in no hurry. I have had a blast today. This trail, this adventure has every element you could want. First of all, the trail is incredible. I mean, we got rocks, we got ruts, we got mud, we got some obstacles, we had to pull winch. And it's an adventure. We had a little breakdown. We had to overcome that. The guys fixed it, and now we're back up and running. Everybody's just having a great time. And I didn't know about this trail, and now that I have it, I've marked it, I've been recording the entire route. I think this is definitely an area to come back to. There's a lot to see out here, and if there's more trails like this, I'm all in. This is like 4.5 hours from my house, so Arizona, I'm probably gonna come back. All right, guys, we have made it to camp, and it is beautiful here. A little bit of rain, but we are having to pack them in. It's pretty tight to get all these vehicles here, but I think it's going to be totally worth it. Look at that view over there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a hint of a rainbow. There is one concerning thing right over here. Let me go show you this. So there is a gravesite here. It says 1934. And who could blame them? I mean, what a great place to be buried. I just hope that they are, no longer hanging around here, because my tent is going to be right over there. And I don't want to mess with any ghosts tonight, if that's all right. All right, let's go get settled. Let's cook up some chow. I don't even know what I'm going to have for dinner tonight.
Well, the temperature was perfect outside right now. Being this high up in elevation, as the sun begins to set, we're anticipating it's going to get a lot colder. So the guys got a raging fire going as everybody else was starting to break out their kitchens and get dinner going.
All right, guys, we are all settled in at camp, and what a beautiful spot. There is no hint of wind. It's probably high 50s, low 60s. It's gorgeous out here, gorgeous. Now, I was trying to debate on what I was going to cook. I've got a steak, I've got some sandwiches, I even packed a mountain meal because I wasn't feeling like, I might not want to cook every night. But I was just invited to have tacos over at Adam's Jeep, the XJ owner. So, let's go see what he's doing with those tacos.
Yeah, I
Appreciate the
just
offer.
assumed I'll be pulling into your field in Nebraska. But it's got kind of
The black steel wheels with the chrome center, they look so good.
No, I'm okay.
Got lanterns hanging around.
Well, buddy, thank you for making tacos.
Absolutely, happy to do it.
What'd you think of the trail today?
Oh, it was amazing. It was beautifully scenic, reasonably challenging for, the way the XJ's set up.
But it did it well.
No, it did. Absolutely did. Almost rolled once. Got about 4 or 5 feet of air on the driver's front tire. And
I heard about it on the radio. We were pretty far back when that happened.
There might be a little pinch mark in the driver's seat, but, yeah, it was a great time.
Right
really,
on.
really good day.
Well, thanks for doing it, dude.
Sure, happy to do it.
That taco was delicious, and I'll bet Adam made at least 2 dozen for everybody to enjoy. Nobody went hungry. And somebody made some popcorn at camp? Come on, what a treat that was. We all stayed warm around the fire and reminisced about our epic day, and we were all anxious about what exciting trail conditions we might find tomorrow.
I wish you guys could smell what I am smelling at this very moment. There is some maple bacon being fried up right behind me, and the wind is blowing this way, and it is the most beautiful smell with a hot cup of coffee and this gorgeous sunrise. I love Arizona. There are so many hidden gems out here, and this is one that I am definitely going to be coming back to. Now, we have a very early start this morning. Got up pretty early this morning. Everybody is already packing up pretty quickly because we have a lot of miles to put in. We have a hard deadline, but my understanding is we're gonna see some really unique terrain and some geology today, so I'm excited to check that out. So, a little more coffee, gonna pack up, driver's meeting, and then hit the road.
I mean, can you imagine being in the middle of nowhere and mining for gold and waking up to this? There are worse things, because that's what happened right up here. All right, well, you guys know the drill. We're leaving at 8. We do have a lot of ground to cover, so I'd ask you to please, keep the person in front of you in sight or whatever, and do what you can to not hold things up. Because we do have a hard deadline that we have to hit. My goal is to be...
While I don't think any of us were in a hurry to leave this beautiful spot, the anticipation of what is coming next, according to Trent, had us all excited. So we were once again on the move, and today's plan, while still a little vague, will include climbing higher into the mountains and traveling through a unique geological area and more fun on the trail. As we made our way down to the bottom section of this mountain, we found ourselves in a wide open wash that was flowing with thousands of gallons of water. I've driven down several dirt washes after a rain before, but I have never seen anything quite like this. I don't think anybody realized we were going to be in a creek slash almost river for about 2 miles this morning. There is a lot of water flowing in Arizona, and you can't hardly see the trail. Thankfully, Vern and Trent have the track, so we know we're staying on the trail. It just doesn't look like a trail. It looks like we're driving down a very shallow river. I have to say, this is probably the longest water crossing I've ever done. This is beautiful. I mean, what an experience. You don't get to do this all the time. This is super cool. With the undersides of our vehicles soaking wet at this stage, we reached a majestic box canyon. This is an incredible area of the trail where you have towering walls on either side of you as you pass through. Trent mentioned we'd see some interesting geology today, but I'll bet he didn't think we'd be passing through here with 6 inches of water below us. We eventually made our way to the end of the wash, but before turning off and heading back up the mountain, it was time to take care of one last thing.
How incredible was that? Several miles right through this wash, and yes, this is a trail. There's actually a road sign right there. Now, we've got to do something very important. We've got to get a group shot, because these are too many beautiful rigs not to.
I'm glad we did this because this is a group of guys and gals with some awesome vehicles and I don't ever want to forget. Okay, we've barely got started. We still have a lot more miles on the trail to go and we will soon be in the pine trees sometime after lunch.
So Jeff got stuck in a little precarious situation coming up this climb. Seems like there's a battery cable issue, so
Whatever you were
Jesse
touching
is
first,
over there
Jesse
trying to
had
diagnose it.
Kicked everything on. There, right there.
Right. Okay.
Thankfully, it was just a loose battery cable, so after a little cleaning and a little tightening, Jeff was back up and running again. You guys want to hear something funny? So, my birthday was just about a week and a half ago, and for my birthday, Regina got me a detailing for both the 392 and this Jeep. First time I've ever had somebody else detail my Jeep, so they did a great job. You know, they clay barred them, waxed them, did the interior, and now I feel horrible because I've got mud. I've got mud inside, I've got mud on me, and of course the outside of the Jeep is just destroyed, but this is not a mall crawler. That's what this is for. And the good news is now it has a good coat of wax on it, so this all should wash off pretty easily. I say it every time I'm out here in Arizona. It's such a great place. There's so many trails that are accessible out here. It's crazy. I mean, every time I come out here, spend days and days, and you rarely see pavement, you rarely see a town. You can come out here and explore forever. This is truly an excellent overland destination. Just don't come out here in the summer, you'll regret it. Come out here when there's rain and mud, just like this. This is perfect. We've been climbing this mountain for a good half hour or so, and we're at 4,400 feet of elevation. The saguaro cactus are gone because they are pretty specific on the altitude that they will and won't grow at. And up here, there's a lot more openness, got some evergreen shrubs, and it's just completely different than the place we were at this morning. That's what I love about Arizona. It just changes all the time. You know, you think desert, but really, desert is such a generic term. There are so many different facets of what the desert can look like. You know, you've got Moab, and you've got Utah, and then you've got this, and you've got sand dunes. I think desert is the wrong word when you talk about a place like this. All right, guys, we've stopped just to take a little break, stretch our legs. We've been going hard on the trail for the last couple hours. And I mentioned that the saguaro cactus have disappeared. And look, we are in the trees. And my understanding is we're going to keep going higher in elevation and see a whole lot more trees. Incredible, the terrain you can find here in Arizona. This was a very quick lunch stop because we still have a lot of miles to go before we're off the trail. And Center Force has made dinner reservations for the entire group tonight, so we don't want to miss that. But unbeknownst to us, what lay ahead in the trail is definitely going to slow us down and make this a true adventure.
This is Vern, you copy? There's a pretty big pine tree. I think I can kind of winch it out of the way, but it's going to take a few minutes. All right, 10-4.
This is another very good reason to have a winch. And you can see Trent here is holding the brake just to keep the Jeep steady. But this isn't the last time we'll be using a winch before this trip is over. Many of you know how I feel about thick mud. It's really just not my favorite thing. But there was no bypass to this section coming up, and turning around just wasn't an option as several in the group were very low on fuel, especially the two 392 Jeeps, which I should mention. So going forward was our best option, and we all had to make it through one last obstacle. Come out of that pine forest, and now we're kind of in this big open area. Also, another area that I would love to spend more time. You know, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that Kofa is a place that I've been wanting to come to for a long time, and now being there and in these Bradshaw Mountains, guys, I have been taking this place for granted. I need to come out here again and again and again, and so I think
I gotta look hard at the schedule. We're gonna find a way to come out here more often. There is so much to see, so many gorgeous trails out here. I am coming back for sure. Now, we've got about another hour to go, I think, until we hit the pavement, and then that's a wrap. And so I just want to say a huge thanks to Trent for putting this on, and for Center Force for allowing us to just put this whole run together and come out here and have a great time. This has been up there with epic adventures, guys. I hope you've enjoyed coming along for the ride. I know I have had a blast. Hopefully you have as well. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video.